I have some unfinished projects that I made in the past, and some of them were substantial enough for me to make them into portfolio pieces. In this prototype showcase series, I want to show you guys some of the videos I have made in the past to show projects to potential employers, detailing mechanics, systems, or sometimes full game loops that I have made. This is a project called Space Tax, which is an attempt to remake an old prototype of mine from 2016 called Up, which is in turn an attempt to make a proper game from a game jam project I made in 2015 called Wind Powered. Ultimately, I got busy with work and had to drop Space Tax, but all the design and development that I put into it still remains, and I can show it to you guys. I want to showcase some of my level design abilities with 2D games, most notably games that are procedural and they procedurally generate infinite modular set piece type content. So this is my game. The working title is Space Tax, and I'll just show you how the game works briefly. So you can choose your character here, so I'm gonna go with the main character. Basically, it is an endless game, so you just have to keep going up. And then you find these little spiky walls that you gotta avoid. And of course, it starts really simple. And you basically just control the wind with the swipe. It is a mobile game, of course. Sometimes you find these little challenges. So this one doesn't hurt you if you hit your head on it, but eventually you find some with spikes that will kill you if you touch the spikes at the bottom. So the characters, they have different abilities too. So this is placeholder art, but this one, he can stay still if you use the ability, so it's easier to navigate. And it lasts a short time. I'm still balancing how long you'll get abilities. Right now it's on a random timer. And basically it is an endless game and you just keep going up and up and up. So this ability is useful in this part here, where I can just stay in this area. Ooh. That was close. So the level starts to get progressively more difficult, and then some other types of challenges. This one you gotta stay here until the bar fills. And once you reach the 400-meter mark, that's when a dungeon appears. I made all of the art, but right now it's a little placeholder. Some of the elements, it's not pixel perfect. As you can see, there are seams, but right now it's just a prototype. So this is a dungeon. As you can see, the camera changes as well. So now the camera is centered around our character. And we gotta navigate this dungeon carefully. There's a lot of coins in the dungeon as well. There's no use for the coins yet, but eventually I'm gonna add upgrades or skins that you can buy. I'm still developing the monetization strategies. And you can of course find the key. And now you have the key. You can go to a door. This should be somewhere. Oh, it's on the top there. So you cannot open that door without the key. And since I have the key, I just touch it and it opens. And I think this should be the end of the dungeon. Yeah, and now I clear the dungeon and the game starts to get harder. There are turrets. And yeah, that's the gist of it. So there are leaderboards. You can, of course, watch ads to keep going, but I haven't implemented that yet. But then the game is called Space Toll because once you touch that, it's gonna take your money away. So you gotta spend the money that you got in your previous run. You cannot hoard money. So it encourages players to just go further and further. So this is the default character. I have two for now. This is placeholder art, of course. Let me just cheat to get some money. Yeah, so Caracasa is a character that ascends fast but descends slowly. So he goes up very fast and goes down slowly because, you know, it's an umbrella. So it has an ability as well. It's a sword, so you can do this and it just destroys obstacles. This uses Unity's tile-based system, and it paints the tiles programmatically. So if I pause the game here, yeah, so if I check here, it paints the entire level beforehand. When you start the run, it paints the level, and as you can see, it starts to get progressively more difficult with more difficult chunks. And then it paints the dungeon as well. And the dungeon is also another system of tiles and chunks. And once you reach the end of the dungeon, it moves you back to the start. But of course, it removes the ground to give the player the illusion that the player is going up and up and up and is at the sky. And then it paints the level again. So the level is basically divided in 400-meter areas that are divided by the dungeon at the top. So every 400 meters, there's going to be a dungeon. And of course, it gets harder and harder. So let me show you how I devised the level design system in a way that it was easy for me to work with. So I have this scene here called Sector Factory. So that's where I do the level design of the game. So these are the dungeon tiles, and these are the regular not tiles, sectors I call them, not even chunks. Yeah, so these are the starter sectors. So there's around 10 variations. Some have more, and I have the ability to add infinite, as many as I want. But I thought that for prototyping and for testing the game's functionalities, 10 was enough. So the starter sectors, these are all the sectors that are forced to spawn right on top of the ground. So these will always be the first sectors that the player sees. For that reason, the bottom half of the sector doesn't have any tiles, and then only has a few tiles at the top, and they're not even that difficult. Usually 3 or 4 spikes at most, and then it gets progressively more difficult. So then, as you can see, all tiles, they have coins, but during gameplay, not all tiles have coins. So when I place a coin, it tells the game that there's a set chance of a coin spawning there during gameplay. So I don't remember exactly the chance, but I think it's 20% or something. And it's something that I can just adjust with a variable in case the players are getting too many coins or too little coins. But then it starts to get more difficult. So these as well are they indicate a turret. So when I place this similarly to the coins, it doesn't mean that there will be a turret there. It means that there may be a turret there based on a percentage of chance. And then, yeah, it starts to get progressively harder, right? And there's a whole algorithm that I made. So as you can see, it gets really risky. So you can navigate this and just go, or you can try to hover around to get this coin. There's kind of a risk reward kind of thing. Some places have 2 coins. It's really enticing. And then eventually it gets very, very hard with spikes everywhere. You basically got to go really carefully. And that's when you reach the really, really high up parts of the game. And the same goes for the dungeon, right? So for the dungeon, I devised a system where it creates a dungeon that is interconnected. It has an end and a start, and then it connects both. I got a lot of inspiration from Spelunky, which uses a similar system, albeit a little more complex than this. So this is the Dungeon Lab scene. This is where I was creating the system for the dungeon. Again, it's very inspired by Spelunky's system. I read Derek Yu's book on the game and I was fascinated. So if I just click on this boolean here, it creates a very simple dungeon. It's a little hard to see because it's too small, so let me just make it super big. So let me do like 8 by, I don't know, 20. So now it's easier to see. So it always creates a starting point at the bottom. Let me just increase this here. Yeah, so it creates a starting point at the bottom and then just makes its way up. Sometimes it's less interesting, sometimes it's more interesting. So let's see this one. Yeah, so it creates forks here and there It's not supposed to be super complicated. It is a simple endless game, of course. I don't want it to be like a big maze. It needs to be mostly straightforward. And so you can create a bunch of dungeons like so. See, some of them are really interesting. And this is the basis of the system. And of course, it takes, so there's a T here, there's an end here, there's a path, there's some intersections here. So basically it takes these and it will place these right on top. So I know it looks kind of boring when it's the ASCII paths, but when it is a dungeon, it looks really interesting. So it has the N tiles for each direction, and it has the T tiles for each direction, and the corner tiles, and the intersections. And then from left to right, that's the difficulty. So as you can see at the start, it's just one spike or something. And then at the end, everything gets covered with spikes. So if you reach dungeon number 10 or something, every wall is going to have spikes, so you're not going to have any place to rest. And again, every one of these passages here, they have doors and keys. And every one of the tiles, they also have keys. So the system that I devised, it sometimes creates doors in the dungeon, and then it detects which sector it put a door in, and then on a previous sector, like a sector before that one, it places a key. So it needs to know where the key goes. So that's why every tile has a key, but not every tile will spawn a key. Only the tile that will need to have a key will spawn the key. So I need to put all that information. Some of them have turrets as well. Some of these get really complicated. And this is all a big tile map, so I can go and paint on it. So let's say I want to create a new medium difficulty sector. So I just duplicate this one. I move it here. So I just go to my tile palette here, and I change the layer, so background. So I can paint the background here. And then I can paint some walls. So let's say I want the spike walls. Or actually, I think, yeah, sorry. So all the hazards are on a different layer. So the hazard layer here, I can paint this, put something here, here. And then I can put prefabs, which are the keys or the coins. It's really simple, really. As a level designer, it's really important that I can do this. And then I have the doors as well. So this is a 3x1, this is a 5x1. So if I place a 3x1 here, then in the game is gonna put a door here. Of course, this doesn't really work because the doors are supposed to be in the dungeon, but this is just for explaining. So I have this game object here, which is basically a sector scanner. So I made this simple Unity tool that I can move it around. Okay, so the way that the system works, so I basically navigate to the sector that I want to get the information from, and I'm doing this manually, but I devised a way that it does the entire row automatically, but this is just to show you. So basically, so let's say I want this medium difficulty 13 sector here, and I want to copy its information into a scriptable object. So I go here to sectors, I create sector data. I'll just call it medium 13 for now. So it is completely empty, as you can see. So now I go to the sector game object, which is the scanner game object, and I drag and drop this thing here to sector data. It is assigned already, and I'll just go and I'll copy its information. And now if I go to the scriptable object, we'll see that everything has 200 elements now, which means it worked, because 10 by 20, so 10 by 20 is 200 tiles, and then it basically lays the tiles down in a linear fashion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on and so forth. And let's see if it worked. So for instance, the hazards. Okay, so I think it lays it down from bottom to top. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There should be a spike on the 25th, which is the case. So you see, this one is this one. And it's the same for the background. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there should be background elements. See? So 3, 4, 5, there's the background. So basically, this is a tool that allows me to copy the information that I draw on these tiles here into scriptable objects that I can then assign to my world generator. And basically, I just feed it more and more sectors, and the game gets even more variety when it comes to level generation, right? So I made it this way because I really wanted a way to just freeform draw on my map and make the levels here instead of having to open like one prefab per map or something. I just want a whole scene where I can just draw. And then again, I can do the following. So I can take this scanner game object here and I can simply move it back to the start. And I can lock it in place. I can check this auto copy sector array and put it to 0. So we're doing the medium sectors, right? So I have, let's do 12 because this one I just created for the video. So I'll just go here to all sectors and I'll go to the medium. So I just take the medium sector data scriptable objects. I just copy it here. And then I click on auto copy data and then it moves to the end, right? So it just goes, and it processes all of these. So all of these tiles here, they're all, their datas are all copied. So I just need to do this once per row, basically. So let's say I had 1,000 sectors for the medium difficulty. All that I would have to do is just move it to the start. I would then get the 1,000 scriptable objects here and then put them all here, right? Of course, this is not proper, but I will put them all here, and then I will just click auto copy data, and in 1 second it will copy the information from all of them into the scriptable objects. So yeah, the system really allows me to experiment and just have fun and just draw these maps. I can see them side by side, which is great as well, so I can see, you know, visually how much they differ in terms of difficulty. You see, like the hallways, they start to get more cramped and tighter, but also they have more coins. So on the main scene here, I have this level manager, which has these lists here. See? So medium sectors and hard sectors and very hard sectors. So it's just a matter of me feeding more sectors into the system. The generation is already there, right? So I think I can even simulate a really hard level by hitting play, and then yeah, so what I can do is I can go to the level manager and I can do, let's say, dungeons defeated, which is here, which is 0. Let me put it to 5. So now that I cheated to appear that I beat 10 dungeons, then you can see how much changes. Yeah, it's really tough. I don't think I'll be able to do it without God mode here. It's even starting to glitch a little bit because I haven't tested that much these types of difficulty. I was balancing mostly the easier ones. But yeah, the sky is also black because the sky changes based on this gradient here. So the higher up you are, the colors change. So it starts with a nice blue sky, and then the sunset, and then the nightfall, and then basically you're in space. So yeah, this is the game. It is, of course, very early on. This is mostly so I could showcase the level design system that I devised. which is really effective for what I need it to do for me. It uses scriptable objects, and I also use scriptable object architecture in the game to help me with other systems. And it also is very good in terms of the actual level designing that I have to do, because I can just go here and just paint. That's a really good thing, because I don't have to worry about intricate systems. I can just paint. I can just spend an afternoon painting the levels and designing everything, and then it just can take 5 to 10 minutes to get everything that I painted and put it into the game through these scriptable objects. Hey guys, Iggy here. I hope you enjoyed seeing the design process behind this little project that I made. Just one quick thing, I started streaming here on YouTube. I've been streaming game development content, so I've been making some weird projects. Here's a little clip for you to see. You are a friendly merchant who speaks only in brief sentences. So look, it is encrusted with diamonds. I see. If the sword is truly encrusted with diamonds, then it does hold significant. 18 gold. Man, it is kind of easy to like trick the AI into like just giving me free money. And today I'm gonna try to make a corn game, or a corn harvesting game. There's a target here, and look how it moves. Whoa, it's really cool. And yeah, it's been really fun. Trying to make some more content, some short format content. Try to get my channel alive, because it's been a while since I posted. But I should be also doing some more gaming content as well. I've been trying to get all of the achievements in Starbound, which has been a pain, but I'm getting there. I think it has one of the most difficult achievements in gaming. But I've been getting footage from the process, and I'll probably make a video about it, and maybe I'll even stream it. I know Starbound is not that popular, people love Terraria, but I like the game. I'm starting to hate it because of the achievement hunting, but so yeah, leave a comment if you want to see me playing a specific type of game, or if you want to see me try to prototype a specific type of game idea. I would love to engage with you guys and try to make more content based on whatever you guys prefer. But yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.